Y'all stay in the void for a minute. I'm supposed to be whispering during the story time. So, ha 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 ha. What? Hold on. Where? How do I play this? Well, saw you stream late at night? Nice! Yes, I'm streaming yet again. Nice. Raid? No, not yet raid. We are... Wait. Oh wait, it's not on. The thing is not on yet. Bedtime story time! Yeah, it's bedtime story time. Wow, the chat is so big. Hold on. Okay, I need to configure some things. Nice. Okay, now everyone can go to their beds. Can go lie down, close your eyes. Hold on. Let us stay in complete silence. It doesn't want to. This one? Okay, it should be playing. Okay, I hear it. I hear it. I don't know if you guys hear it. Here. Just a slight background music for y'all. Nice. This one is supposed to be... Where is this one? Oh, I need to change some of the settings because I forgot already. Ha. Now to dim the lights. Yeah. BGM is thumbs up. Yes, I very like this one. When I used to like study using lo-fi, this is the one that I would put on always. Oh, okay, I can't change it here at the moment. Okay, that's fine. Wait. Ah, one of my elements is missing. Hold on. Give me a minute. I am trying to locate it. Transform. Center. Oh, it's way over there. Center. Okay, there you go. Dim the lights to as dark as my humor. I was supposed to do night workout tonight, but I guess rest is needed too. Yeah, it's very important to rest. Also, let me actually like turn off the sound alert so no one gets a heart attack while we're reading. Sound alerts. Dead shit. Okay. I turned off other things. Alright. Let me... Oh, wait. I haven't changed the... How do I change this one? Oh, here.
ZZ.
TTS! Oh no, TTS! How many stories are we getting tonight? We'll see. Not sure yet. Maybe 3, maybe 4. There are some that are kind of long, but there are some that are not really that long, so yeah. Maybe an hour-ish of reading. Alright. Akira, thank you for the redeem. If we read whole book, it'll take 10 or so hours. Yeah, that's the thing. I was halfway through the book when I last read it, so we will be reading starting from where I left lah. Thank you for the redeem. Let me drink water and also turn off TTS. TTS so noisy. Can I turn off TTS? Yes. Okay. What story were you on? Last one I read was Faithful John, but if I remember correctly, I last read this like 3 years ago, so I don't really remember much of it, honestly. Sayur be removing redeems, then she'll forget to add to. As always. Also, I was thinking of doing a community challenge thingy. I have like 2 more streams scheduled, so yeah, we'll see. Since you guys like the nya so much, maybe I will make a community challenge to make me nya for the rest of the stream. Yeah, why not? Oh, also, break my bone. Thank you, Akira. The music isn't too loud, is it? Mads! Not now! FYI, I just vibing alone in the VC. Wait, really? Ah. Oh, yeah, from earlier. Yeah, I saw. Music volume is nice. Okay, alright. We need a challenge that I'll group to 20 minutes. Okay, you guys can choose. Oh, Faiz, just in time for the bedtime story. Let me move my mic a bit. You guys can choose for the community challenge if you want the nya for 20 minutes or if you want a nya for the rest of the stream. Okay, I will activate the community challenge next stream lah. Okay, so have I done? Oh yeah, I need to nya. I forgot. Let me take my timer first. Oh, I should use my watch since that one isn't so loud. Java, come back. Alright. How am I supposed to read this story if I'm nyaing? Oh no. Okay, starting the 10 minutes right now. We whisper. I just tried to choose because I finished Play Jackbox and Goose Goose Duck with my Papa Streamer and the gang. Oh, tired to choose. Okay. Grimm's nya, Tales nya. So every nya, we will be reading from the Grimm's fairy tales, nyara. We'll start with the nya Faithful John story, nya. I feel like most of these stories are stories I haven't actually heard, nya. So if you haven't heard them as well, maybe, maybe because they're not all that popular, nyara. Oh my god, the dog is nyara nyaing. This is not nyara. At me, room lights dimmed nya, gadget lights dimmed nya. My light dimmed. Not like that, makunya. Alright, the next 4 stories in the book, nyara, is, let me see, nya, the blue light, nya, ash puchal, nyara, the young giant and the tailor, nya, and the crows and the soldier, nya. So those are the next 4 stories, nyara. So if we manage to get through 4 of those, we'll just continue, nya. I just randomly entered the VC, nya, forgot about it, and sing along with the song till didn't realize someone coming in, nya. It's fine, you can use the VCs however you want, nyara. I'm not there to like police the usage of your VCs, of my VCs, nya. Right, so ちょっとnya. I got this. Alright nya, let's go. I'll be reading Faithful John nya. An old king fell sick nyara. And when he found his end drawing near nya, he said, let Faithful John come to me nya. Now, Faithful John was the servant nya that he was fondest of nyara, and was so called because he had nyara been true to his master all his life long nyara. Then nya, when he came to the bedside, the king said, nya, my faithful John nya, I feel that my end draws nigh nyara. And I have now no cares save for my son. Nya, add a neko at times too, alright? Who is still young, neko para. And stands in need of good counsel nya. I have no friend to leave him but you, nyara. If you do not pledge yourself to teach him all he should know, nyara, and to be a father to him, nyanya, I shall not shut my eyes in peace, neko. Then John said, nya, I will never leave him, nya, but will serve him faithfully, even though it should cost me my life, nya. And the king said, nya, I shall now die in peace, neko. After my death, nya, show him the whole palace, nya, all the rooms and vaults, and all the treasures and stores which lie there, nya. But, nyara, take care how you show him one room, nya. I mean the one where hangs the picture of the daughter of the king of the golden roof, neko para. If he sees it, nya, he will fall deeply in love with her, and will then be plunged into great dangers on her account, neko. Guard him in this peril, nya. And when faithful John had once more pledged his word to the old king, nya, he laid his head on his pillow and died in peace, nyara. So nice. Now, when the old king had been carried to his grave, nya, faithful John told the young kid what had passed upon his deathbed, nyara, and said, I will keep my word truly, nya, and be faithful to you, neko, as I was always to your father, nyaran, though it should cost me my life, nyara. And the young king wept and said, neither will I ever forget your faithfulness, nyara. The days of mourning passed away, neko, and then faithful John said to his master, nya, it is now time that you should see your heritage, nya. I will show you your father's palace, nyara. Then he led him about everywhere, up and down, and let him see all the riches and all the costly rooms, nyara. Only one room, neko, where the picture stood, he did not open, nya. Now, the picture was so placed that the moment the door opened, you could see it, nyara. And it was so beautifully done that one would think it breathed and had life, nya. And that there was nothing more lovely in the whole world. When the young king saw that faithful John always went by this door, nyara, he said, why do you not open that room, neko para? There is something inside, he answered, which would frighten you, nya. But the king said, I have seen the whole palace, and I must also know what is in there, nya. And he went and began to force open the door, nya. But faithful John held him back and said, I gave my word to your father before his death, nyara, that I would take heed how I showed you what stands in that room, what stands in that room, nya, lest it should lead you and me into great trouble, Nico. Hi, Art. IJWU, Ju, Uwu. The greatest trouble to me, said the young king, Nyaran, will be not to go in and see the room, nya. I shall have no peace by day or by night until I do, nya. So I shall not go hence until you open it, nyara. Then faithful John saw that with all he could do or say, the king would have his way, nya. So, nyaranya, with a heavy heart and many foreboding sighs, nyara, he sought for the key out of his great bunch, nya. And he opened the door of the room and entered in first, nya, so as to stand between the king and the picture, nya, hoping he might not see it. But he raised himself upon tiptoes, nya, and looked over John's shoulders. And as soon as he saw the likeness of the lady, nyara, so beautiful and shining with gold, he fell down upon the floor senseless, nekopara. Then faithful John lifted him up in his arms and carried him to his bed, was full of care, and thought to himself, this trouble has come upon us, O heaven, nya. What will come of it, nyara? At last the king came to himself again, nya. But, nyaran, the first thing that he said was, whose is that beautiful picture, nya? It is the picture of the daughter of the king of the golden roof, nyara, said faithful John, nya. But the king went on. Oh. The nya timer is up, by the way. I will be reading this normally now. Okay, let me see where I left off. My love towards her is so great that if all the leaves on the trees were tongues, they could not speak it. I care not to risk my life to win her. You are my faithful friend. You must aid me. Then John thought for a long time what was now to be done, and at length said to the king, all that she has about her is of gold. The tables, stools, cups, dishes, and all the things in her house are of gold. And she is always seeking new treasures. Now, in your stores there is much gold. Let it be worked up into every kind of vessel, and into all sorts of birds, wild beasts, and wonderful animals. Then we will take it and try our fortune. So the king ordered all the goldsmiths to be sought for. Give me a minute. And they worked hard, they worked day and night, until at last the most beautiful things were made, and faithful John had a ship loaded with them, and put on a merchant's dress, and the king did the same, that they might not be known. When all was ready, they put out to sea, and sailed till they came to the coast of the land where the king of the golden roof reigned. Faithful John told the king to stay in the ship and wait for him. For perhaps, said he, I may be able to bring away the king's daughter with me. Therefore, take care that everything be in order. Let the golden vessels and ornaments be brought forth, and the whole ship be decked out with them. Fair. And he chose out something of each of the golden things to put into his basket, and got ashore, and went towards the king's palace. And when he came to the castle yard, there stood by the well side a beautiful maiden, who had 2 golden pails in her hand, drawing water. And as she drew up the water, which was glittering with gold, she turned herself round and saw the stranger, and asked him who he was. Then he drew near and said, I am a merchant, and opened his basket, and let her look into it. And she cried out, Oh, what beautiful things! And set down her pails, and looked at one after the other. Then she said, The king's daughter must see all this. She is so fond of such things, that she will buy all of you. So she took him by the hand and led him in. For she was one of the waiting maids of the daughter of the king. Give me a minute. My God, my lips be dry. Nako, thank you for the redeem. Alright, minasan, what to break? What the? Alright, I hope the audio is okay. You want me to speak a little louder? Just tell me. I will obey. Okay, let's go. Oh, let me stretch first. Oh. Alright then, let's continue. When the princess saw the wares, she was greatly pleased, and said, They are so beautiful that I will buy them all. But Faithful John said, I am only the servant of a rich merchant. What I have here is nothing to what he has lying in yonder ship. There he has the finest and most costly things that ever were made in gold. The princess wanted to have them all brought ashore, but he said that would take up many days. There are such a number, and more rooms would be wanted to place them in than there are in the greatest house. Wait, I actually forgot to change the PNG. You're supposed to be using this one. Yeah, there you go. Now you have a book. Where are we? Alright. But her wish to see them grew still greater, and at last she said, Take me to the ship. I will go myself and look at your master's wares. Then Faithful John led her joyfully to the ship, and the king, when he saw her, thought that his heart would leap out of his breast, and it was with the greatest trouble that he kept himself still. So she got into the ship and the king led her down. But faithful John stayed behind with the steersman and ordered the ship to put off. "Spread all your sails," cried he, "that she may fly over the waves like a bird through the air." And the king showed the princess the golden wares, each one singly, the dishes, cups, basins, and the wild and wonderful beasts, so that many hours flew away, and she looked at everything with delight, and was not aware that the ship was sailing away. And after she had looked at the last, she thanked the merchant, and said she would go home. But when she came upon the deck, she saw that the ship was sailing far away from land upon the deep sea, and that it flew along at full sail. "Alas!" she cried out in her fright, "I am betrayed! I am carried off, and have fallen into the power of a roving trader. I would sooner have died." But then the king took her by the hand, and said, "I am not a merchant. I am a king, and of as noble birth as you. I have taken you away by stealth, but I did so because of the very great love I have for you. For the first time that I saw your face, I fell on the ground in a swoon." When the daughter of the king of the golden roof heard all, she was comforted, and her heart soon turned towards him, and she was willing to become his wife. What? What the heck? But it so happened that whilst they were sailing on the deep sea, faithful John, as he sat on the prow of the ship, playing on his flute, saw 3 ravens flying in the air towards him. Kurayami-san, hi hi. Stockholm-ish, yeah, I know, right? Bimak can sleep now, yeah, good night, Bimak. Then he left off playing and listened to what they said to each other. For he understood their tongue. The first said, "There he goes! He is bearing away the daughter of the king of the golden roof. Let him go!" And the second one said, "Nay," said the second, "there he goes, but he has not got her yet." And the third said, "There he goes, he surely has her, for she is sitting by his side in the ship." Then the first began again, and cried out, "What boots it to him? See you not that when they come to land, a horse of a foxy red color will spring towards him? And then he will try to get upon it, and if he does, it will spring away with him into the air, so that he will never see his love again." "True, true," said the second, "but is there no help?" "Oh, yes, yes," said the first. "If he who sits upon the horse takes the dagger, which is stuck in the saddle, and strikes him dead, the young king is safe. But who knows that? And who will tell him that he who does save the king's life will turn to stone, from the toes of his feet to his knee?" The second said, "True, true, and I know more still. Though the horse be dead, the king loses his bride. When they go together into the palace, there lies the bridal dress on the couch, and looks as if it were woven of gold and silver, but it is all brimstone and pitch, and if he puts it on, it will burn him, marrow and bones." "Alas, alas! Is there no help?" said the third. "Oh, yes, yes," said the second. "If someone draws near and throws it into the fire, the young king will be saved. But what boots that? Who knows and will tell him that if he does, his body from the knee to the heart will be turned to stone? More, more, I know more, said the third. With the dress burnt, still the king loses his bride. After the wedding, when the dance begins and the young queen dances on, she will turn pale and fall as though she were dead. And if someone does not draw near and lift her up and take from her right breast 3 drops of blood, she will surely die. But if anyone knew this, he will tell him that if he does do so, his body will turn to stone, from the crown of his head to the tip of his toe. Are you reading fanfic to chat? No. PA fanfic reading when? Then the ravens flapped their wings. Oh wait, BMAC said goodnight. Goodnight, BMAC. Hi, Piera. Yeah, hi, Piera. Then the ravens flapped their wings and flew on. But faithful John, who had understood it all, from that time was sorrowful, and did not tell his master what he had heard, for he saw that if he told him, he must himself lay down his life to save him. At last he said to himself, I will be faithful to my word and save my master, if it costs me my life. They won't survive a paragraph if I do? Piera, what kind of fanfics are you reading? Now, when they came to land, it happened just as the ravens had foretold. For there sprang out a fine foxy red horse. See, said the king, he shall bear me to my palace. And he tried to mount, but faithful John leapt before him, and swung himself quickly upon it, drew the dagger, and smote the horse dead. Then the other servants of the king, who were jealous of faithful John, cried out, what a shame to kill the fine beast that was to take the king to his palace. But the king said, let him alone. It is my faithful John. Who knows but he did it for some good end? 에로미에요. 비에 고와이 데스네. Okay. Then they went on to the castle. Got it? Okay. Where was it? And there stood a couch in one room, and a fine dress lay upon it, that shone with gold and silver. And the young king went up to it to take hold of it. But faithful John cast it in the fire, and burnt it. And the other servants began again to grumble, and said, see, now he is burning the wedding dress. But the king said, who knows what he does it for? Let him alone. He is my faithful servant John. Then the wedding feast was held, and the dance began, and the bride came in. But faithful John took good heed, and looked at her face, and on a sudden she turned pale, and fell as though she were dead upon the ground. But he sprang towards her quickly, lifted her up, and took her and laid her upon a couch, and drew 3 drops of blood from her right breast. And as she breathed again, and came to herself, but the young king had seen all, and did not know why faithful John had done it. So he was angry at his boldness, and said, "Throw him into prison." Colleen, hello, welcome to the channel. I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I see you are a first time chatter. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Sayu. I primarily simp over fictional characters. But currently I'm reading a bedtime story to my basement prisoners because it is still a part of my anniversary. So yeah, welcome. Thanks, no problem. I hope your day is doing well. Also, the dogs be barking. So sorry, everyone. Let me cue up the song again. Oh my, a good introduction. It brings this lore master to a tear. What do you mean? My introductions are all great. What do you mean? I would like to follow everywhere on social media. Thank you. I have my card link. Oh my god, it's so loud. It's not supposed to be that loud. I have my card link in my about, so you can follow me in there. But yeah, also thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy staying here with me. Yeah. Let me continue on. The next morning, faithful John was led forth, and stood upon the gallows, and said, "May I speak out before I die?" And when the king answered, "It shall be granted thee," he said, "I am wrongly judged, for I have always been faithful and true." And then he told what he had heard the raven say upon the sea, and how he meant to save his master, and had therefore done all these things. Oh yeah, Colleen. I normally don't talk like this. I am more virile on normal stream, so when you get to that, I hope you won't mind. Don't have a social comment, no, I don't. I didn't think it was necessary. I also followed you on Twitter. Is that okay? Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, if you want to join our Discord server, I also have that one. You can join if you want. Yeah. Thank you. Also, thank you for the follow. Are you an artist? Part-time. I am. I don't really draw a lot these days, but yeah, I do draw sometimes. The PNG that you're seeing on screen, my persona one, that was drawn by me. And yeah. Where was I? Like graphics designing? No. Just drawing silly little characters, that's all. When he had told all, the king called out, "Oh, my most faithful John! Pardon! Take him down!" But faithful John had fallen down lifeless at the last word he spoke, and lay as a stone. And the king and the queen mourned over him, and the king said, "Oh, how ill have I rewarded thy truth!" And he ordered the stone figure to be taken up, and placed in his own room near to his bed. And as often as he looked at it, he wept, and said, "Oh, that I could bring thee back to life again, my faithful John." After a time, the queen had 2 little sons who grew up, and were her great joy. How long does you stream? I usually stream for like 2 hours. And like usually at night during my time zone. But I will say it is a bit of a bad time that you found me because I only have 2 days left to stream before I'm going back to my dorms for my study. So yeah, I will be going on hiatus after that. mm, One day, when she was at church, the two children stayed with their father, and as they played about, he looked at the stone figure and sighed, and cried out, "Oh, that I could bring thee back to life, my faithful John." Then the stone began to speak, and said, "O king, thou canst bring me back to life if thou wilt give up for my sake what is dearest to thee." Then said the stone, "Cut off the heads of thy children, sprinkle their blood over me, and I shall live again." Then the king was greatly shocked, but he thought how faithful John had died for his sake, and because of his great truth towards him, and rose up and drew his sword to cut off his children's heads and sprinkle the stone with their blood. But the moment he drew his sword, faithful John was alive again, and stood before his face, and said, "Your truth is rewarded." And the children sprang about and played as if nothing had happened. Going to Mimir. Good night, Sayu. Good night, chat. Thanks for Satori. Thank you, Amin. Thank you for staying with me. And good night. I have a follow back on Twitter. I'll check it out after the stream. Okay, Colleen? Then the king was full of joy. And when he saw the queen coming to try her, he put faithful John and the two children in a large closet. And when she came in, he said to her, "Have you been at church?" "Yes," said she, "but I could not help thinking of faithful John, who was so true to us." "Dear wife," said the king, "we can bring him back to life again, but it will cost us both our little sons, and we must give them up for his sake." When the queen heard this, she turned pale and was frightened in her heart. But she said, "Let it be so. We owe him all for his great faith and truth." Then he rejoiced, because she thought as he had thought, and went in and opened the closet, and brought out the children and faithful John, and said, "Heaven be praised! He is ours again, and we have our sons safe too." So he told her the whole story, and all lived happily together the rest of their lives. Right, that was the story of faithful John. Let me take a break a bit. Let me see. So I tried to do stream, but not well because my PC is not in good condition. So I'm designing graphics to make my computer. Honestly, I don't have money, so maybe I can stream. This may not be good advice from me, seeing as I kind of stream heavy things, quote unquote. But if your PC cannot handle like heavy end things, streaming heavy end things, you can try to stream like lighter things. I'm sure like art doesn't take that much RAM, does it? I don't know anything. Okay, let me drink water first. Yes. I think I'll read one more story and then we can end the stream because it's already 1 minute to 1. Also, I forgot. Happy birthday, everyone. Happy midnight. Happy birthday. Alright, let's move on to the next story. The next story is The Blue Light. A soldier had served a king, his master, many years, till at last he was turned off without pay or reward. How he should get his living he did not know. So he set out and journeyed homeward, all day in a very downcast mood, until in the evening he came to the edge of a deep wood. The road leading that way he pushed forward, but had not gone far before he saw a light glimmering through the trees. Towards which he bent his weary steps, and soon came to a hut where no one lived but an old witch. The poor fellow begged for a night's lodging and something to eat and drink, but she would listen to nothing. However, he was not easily got rid of, and at last she said, "I think I will take pity on you this once. But if I do, you must dig over all my garden for me in the morning." The soldier agreed very willingly to anything she asked, and he became her guest. Happy midnight, and it's 1. Yes, we have very impeccable time management here. The next day, he kept his word and dug the garden very neatly. The job lasted all day. And in the evening, when his mistress would have sent him away, he said, "I am so tired with my work that I must beg you to let me stay over the night." The old lady vowed at first she would not do any such thing, but after a great deal of talk he carried his point, agreeing to chop up a whole cartload of wood for her the next day. That's why time management is in weaknesses. Yes. Very right. I was busy going pew-pewing to notice the time. This task too was duly ended, but not till towards midnight. And then he found himself so tired that he begged a third night's rest, and this too was given, but only on his pledging his word that he next day would fetch the witch the blue light that burned at the bottom of the well. When morning came, she led him to the well's mouth, tied him to a long rope, and let him down. At the bottom, sure enough, he found the blue light as the witch had said, and at once made the signal for her to draw him up again. But when she had pulled him up so near to the top that she could reach him with her hands, she said, "Give me the light, I will take care of it," meaning to play him a trick by taking it for herself and letting him fall again to the bottom of the well. But the soldier saw through her wicked thoughts and said, "No, I shall not give you the light till I find myself safe and sound out of the well." At this, she became very angry and dashed him, with the light she had longed for many a year, down to the bottom. And there lay the poor soldier for a while in despair, on the damp mud below, and feared that his end was nigh. But his pipe happened to be in his pocket, still half full, and he thought to himself, "I may as well make an end of smoking you out, It is the last pleasure I shall have in this world. So he lit it at the blue light and began to smoke. Akatsuki-san, hi, welcome to stream. Where? No, the song request one is off at the moment. Just because I don't want anybody to request any song that might startle people, yeah. I actually been a while ago. Well, it's very nice to have you here. Hi. Let me continue. Up rose a cloud of smoke, and on a sudden, a little black dwarf was seen making his way through the midst of it. "What do you want with me, soldier?" said he. "I have no business with you," answered he. But the dwarf said, "I am bound to serve you in everything, as lord and master of the blue light. Then, first of all, be so good as to help me out of this well." No sooner said than done. The dwarf took him by the hand and drew him up, and the blue light, of course, with him. "Now, do me another piece of kindness," said the soldier. "Pray let that old lady take my place in the well." When the dwarf had done this, and lodged the witch safely at the bottom, they began to ransack her treasures, and the soldier was made bold to carry off as much of her gold and silver as he well could. Then the dwarf said, "If you should chance at any time to want me, you have nothing to do but to light your pipe at the blue light, and I will soon be with you." You have a raccoon. The soldier was not a little pleased at his good luck, and went to the best inn in the first town he came to, and ordered some fine clothes to be made, and a handsome room to be got ready for him. When all was ready, he called his little man to him, and said, "The king sent me away penniless, and left me to hunger and want. I have a mind to show him that it is my turn to be master now. So bring me his daughter here this evening, that she may wait upon me and do what I bid her." Yeah. This is turning very yabai. Okay. "That is rather a dangerous task," said the dwarf. But away he went, took the princess out of her bed, fast asleep as she was, and brought her to the soldier. Very early in the morning, he carried her back, and as soon as she saw her father, she said, "I had a strange dream last night. I thought I was carried away through the air to a soldier's house, and there I waited upon him as his servant." Then the king wondered greatly at such a story, but told her to make a hole in her pocket and fill it with peas, so that if it were really as she said, and the hole was not a dream, the peas might fall out in the streets as she passed through, and leave a clue to tell whither she had been taken. She did so, but the dwarf had heard the king's plot, and when evening came, and the soldier said he must bring him the princess again, he strewed peas over several of the streets, so that the few that fell from her pocket were not known from the others. And the people amused themselves all the next day, picking up peas, and wondering where so many came from. When the princess told her father what had happened to her the second time, he said, "Take one of your shoes with you, and hide it in the room you are taken to. The dwarf heard this also, and when the soldier told him to bring the king's daughter again, he said, "I cannot save you this time. It will be an unlucky thing for you if you are found out, as I think you will." But the soldier would have his own way. "Then you must take care and make the best of your way out of the city gate very early in the morning," said the dwarf. The princess kept one shoe on as her father bid her, and hid it in the soldier's room, and when she got back to her father, he ordered it to be sought for all over the town. And at last it was found where she had hid it. The soldier had run away, it is true, but he had been too slow, and was soon caught and thrown into a strong prison, and loaded with chains. What was worse, in the hurry of his flight, he had left behind his great treasure, the blue light, and all his gold, and had nothing left in his pocket but one poor ducat. As he was standing very sorrowful at the prison grating, he saw one of his comrades, and calling out to him, said, "If you will bring me a little bundle I have left in the inn, I will give you a ducat." His comrade thought this very good pay for such a job, so he went away, and soon came back bringing the blue light and the gold. Then the prisoner soon lit his pipe, up rose the smoke, and with it came his old friend the little dwarf. "Do not fear, master," said he. "Keep up your heart at your trial, and leave everything to take its course. Only mind to take the blue light with you." The trial soon came on. The matter was sifted to the bottom, the prisoner found guilty, and his doom passed. He was ordered to be hung forthwith on the gallows tree. But as he was led out, he said he had one favor to beg of the king. "What is it?" said his majesty. "That you will deign to let me smoke one pipe on the road." "Two, if you like," said the king. Then he lit his pipe at the blue light, and the black dwarf was before him in a moment. "Be so good as to kill, slay, or put to flight all these people," said the soldier. "And as for the king, you may cut him into 3 pieces." Then the dwarf began to lay about him, and soon got rid of the crowd around. But the king begged hard for mercy, and to save his life, he agreed to let the soldier have the princess for his wife, and to leave the kingdom to him when he died. That was the ending of the second story, The Blue Light. We've actually come upon Aschbutel. I believe it's a German word. This one, I think I will read this one as the last one, because Aschbutel is actually Cinderella. Yeah, Cinderella with a glass shoe. It's a bit long though. Wait, yeah, this one is 2, 4, 6, 6, 8, 10. It's 10 pages. The ones before this were like 5 pages each. Oh my gosh. Right, so I will read Aschbutel as the last story for today. Then I will be ending the stream without a read. I'll end the stream quietly, so if anyone has fallen asleep, they can continue to sleep. Right, let's start reading. The wife of a rich man fell sick, And when she felt that her end drew nigh, she called her only daughter to her bedside, and said, "Always be a good girl, and I will look down from heaven and watch over you." Soon afterwards, she shut her eyes and died, and was buried in the garden. And the little girl went every day to her grave and wept, and was always good and kind to all about her. And the snow spread a beautiful white covering over the grave. But by the time the sun had melted it away, again her father had married another wife. This new wife had 2 daughters of her own that she brought home with her. They were fair in face, but foul at heart. And it was now a sorry time for the poor young girl. "What does the good-for-nothing want in the parlor?" said they. "They who would eat bread should first earn it. Away with the kitchen maid!" Then they took away her fine clothes, and gave her an old grey frock to put on, and laughed at her, and turned her into the kitchen. There she was forced to do hard work, to rise early before daylight, to bring water, to make the fire, to cook and to wash. Besides that, the sisters plagued her in all sorts of ways, and laughed at her. In the evening, when she was tired, she had no bed to lie down on, but was made to lie by the hearth among the ashes. And then, as she was of course always dusty and dirty, they called her Ashputal. It happened once that the father was going to the fair, and asked his wife's daughters what he should bring them. "Fine clothes," said the first. "Pearls and diamonds," cried the second. "Now, child," said he to his own son, "what will you have?" "The first prig, dear father, that rubs against your head on your way home," said she. Then he bought for the two first the fine clothes and pearls and diamonds they had asked for. And on his way home, as he rode through a green copse, a sprig of hazel brushed against him, and almost pushed off his hat. So he broke it off and brought it away. And when he got home, he gave it to his daughter. Then she took it and went to her mother's grave and planted it there, and cried so much that it was watered with her tears, and there it grew and became a fine tree. 3 times every day she went to it and wept, and soon a little bird came and built its nest upon the tree, and talked with her, and watched over her, and brought her whatever she wished for. Now it happened that the king of the land held a feast which was to last 3 days, and out of those who came to it, his son was to choose a bride for himself. And Ashputal's 2 sisters were asked to come. So they called her up and said, "Now, comb our hair, brush our shoes, and tie our sashes for us, for we are going to dance at the king's feast." Then she did as she was told. But when all was done, she could not help crying, for she thought to herself she should have liked to go to the dance too. And at last she begged her mother very hard to let her go. "You, Ashputal," said she, "you who have nothing to wear, no clothes at all, and who cannot even dance, you want to go to the ball?" And when she kept on begging to get rid of her, she said at last, "I will throw this basin full of peas into the ash heap, and if you have picked them all out in 2 hours' time, you shall go to the feast too." Then she threw the peas into the ashes, But the little maiden ran out at the back door into the garden and cried out, "Hither, hither, through the sky, turtle doves and linnets fly. Blackbird, thrush, and chaffinch gay, hither, hither, haste away. One and all, come help me quick, haste thee, haste thee, pick, peck, peck." Then first came 2 white doves, flying in at the kitchen window. And next came 2 turtle doves, and after them all the little birds under heaven came chirping and fluttering in, and flew down into the ashes. And the little doves stooped their heads down and set to work, pick, 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 and the others began to pick, 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 and picked out all the good grain and put it in a dish, and left the ashes. What's that emote? It's so cute. At the end of 1 hour, the work was done, and all flew out again at the windows. Then she brought the dish to her mother, overjoyed at the thought that now she should go to the wedding. But she said, "No, no! You slut, you have no clothes and cannot dance. You shall not go." And when Ashputtel begged very hard to go, she said, "If you can, in 1 hour's time, pick 2 of those dishes of peas out of the ashes, you shall go." And thus she thought she should at last get rid of her. So she shook 2 dishes of peas into the ashes. But the little maiden went out into the garden at the back of the house and cried out as before, "Hither, hither, through the sky, turtle doves and linnets fly. Blackbird, thrush, and chaffinch gay, hither, hither, haste away. One and all, come help me quick, haste ye, pick, pick, pick." Then first came 2 white doves in at the kitchen window, and next came the turtle doves, and after them all the little birds under heaven came chirping and hopping about, and flew down about the ashes, and the little doves put their heads down and set to work, pick, 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 and the others began to pick, 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 and they put all the good grain into the dishes and left all the ashes. Before half an hour's time all was done, and out they flew again. And then Ashputtel took the dishes to her mother, rejoicing to think that she should now go to the ball. But her mother said, "It is all of no use. You cannot go. You have no clothes and cannot dance, and you would only put us to shame." And off she went with her 2 daughters to the feast. Now, when all were gone and nobody left at home, Ashputtel went sorrowfully and sat down under the hazel tree and cried out, "Shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me." Then her friend the bird flew out of the tree and brought a gold and silver dress for her, and slippers of spangled silk, and she put them on, and followed her sisters to the feast. But they did not know her, and thought it must be some strange princess. She looked so fine and beautiful in her rich clothes, and they never once thought of Ashputtel, but took for granted that she was safe at home in the dead. Y'all coming? Yawn. Mako gonna sleep soon, eh y'all? The king's son soon came up to her, and took her by the hand, and danced with her and no one else, and he never left her hand. But when anyone else came to ask her to dance, he said, this lady is dancing with me. Thus they danced till a late hour of the night, and then she wanted to go home. And the king's son said, I shall go and take care of you to your home. For he wanted to see where the beautiful maid lived. But she slipped away from him unawares, and ran off towards home, and the princess followed her. But she jumped into the pigeon house and shut the door. Then he waited till her father came home, and told him that the unknown maiden, who had been at the feast, had hid herself in the pigeon house. But when they had broken open the door, when they had opened the door, they found no one within. And as they came back into the house, Ashputtel lay, as she always did, in her dirty frock by the ashes, and her dim little lamp burnt in the chimney. For she had run as quickly as she could through the pigeon house and on to the hazel tree, and had there taken off her beautiful dress, and laid them beneath the tree, that the bird might carry them away, and had seated herself amid the ashes again in her little grey frock. Gak tidur lagi ya kamu semua? No, not yet. That's the last story of the night. So we still have four more pages to read. Yeah. After that, I will be done. I see. Also, hi you. You came in so late. How shouldn't you be asleep? Do you not have classes tomorrow? And let me resume. The next day, when the feast was again held, and her mother, father, and sisters were gone, Ashputtel went to the hazel tree and said, Shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me. So we end about 2. Yeah, about 2. Like before. Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. Saya habis kelas pukul 11, esok kelas lewat sedikit. Okay. I see. Wait, you had class until 11 p.m.? Or will your class end at 11 a.m. tomorrow? And the bird came and brought a still finer dress than the one she had worn the day before. And when she came in it to the ball, everyone wondered at her beauty. But the king's son, who was waiting for her, took her by the hand and danced with her. And when anyone asked her to dance, he said as before, This lady is dancing with me. When night came, she wanted to go home, and the king's son followed her as before, that he might see into what house she went. But she sprang away from him all at once into the garden behind her father's house. In this garden stood a fine large pear tree, full of ripe fruit. And Ashputtel, not knowing where to hide herself, jumped up into it without being seen. Then the king's son could not find out where she had gone, but waited till her father came home and said to him, The unknown lady who danced with me has slipped away, and I think she must have sprung into the pear tree. The father thought to himself, Can it be Ashputtel? So he ordered an axe to be brought, and they cut down the tree, but found no one upon it. And when they came back into the kitchen, there lay Ashputtel in the ashes as usual, for she had slipped down on the other side of the tree, and carried her beautiful clothes back to the bird at the hazel tree, and then put on her little grey frock. Sa'yo is AMSRing. Oops, it's so loud. Hi, hello, Ria. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. I will introduce myself in case you do not know who I am. My name is Sayu. I primarily sim for fictional characters, especially those that have muscles. But right now we are in the middle of reading a bedtime story as part of my anniversary celebration. Be warned, now that you have followed me, this is not my usual talking voice. I am very much a feral raccoon in my normal stream. So yeah, welcome to the basement. There's no turning back. Hello, new people, yeah. Bedtime stories that keep you awake? No, this is going against my goal. Hello, story time? Yeah, we're in the middle of Ashputal at the moment. Ashputal being Cinderella. It's already day 2 of the ball, so let me continue reading. The third day, when her father and mother and sisters were gone, she went again into the garden and said, "Shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me." Then her kind friend the bird brought a dress still finer than the former one, and slippers which were all of gold, so that when she came to the feast, no one knew what to say, for wonder at her beauty. And the king's son danced with her alone, and when anyone else asked her to dance, he said, "This lady is my partner." Now, when night came, she wanted to go home, and the king's son would go with her, and said to himself, "I will not lose her this time." But however, she managed to slip away from him, though in such a hurry that she dropped her left golden slipper upon the stairs. Oh yeah, we are actually reading the Grimm's version of Cinderella. So if it's a bit gory or a bit different from what we remember, it's the OG. So yeah, golden slippers, wow. So the prince took the shoe and went the next day to the king, his father, and said, "I will take for my wife the lady that this golden slipper fits." Then both the sisters were overjoyed to hear this, for they had beautiful feet, and had no doubt that they could wear the golden slipper. The eldest went first into the room where the slipper was, and wanted to try it on, and the mother stood by. But her great toe could not go into it, and the shoe was altogether much too small for her. Then the mother gave her a knife, and said, "Never mind, cut it off, and when you are queen you will not care about toes. You will not want to go on foot." So the silly girl cut her great toe off, and squeezed the shoe on, and went to the king's son. Ugh. Then he took her for his bride, and set her beside him on his horse, and rode away with her. But on their way home, they had to pass by the hazel tree that Ashputal had planted. And there sat a little dove on the branch singing, "Back again, back again. Look to the shoe. The shoe is too small and not made for you. Prince, prince, look again for thy bride, for she is not the true one that sits by thy side." Then the prince got down and looked at her foot, and saw by the blood that streamed from it what a trick she had played him. So he turned his horse round, and brought the false bride back to her home, and said, "This is not the right bride. Let the other sister try and put on the slipper." Then she went into the room and got her foot into the shoe, all but the heel, which was too large. But her mother squeezed it in till the blood came, and took her to the king's son. And he set her as his bride by his side on his horse, and rode away with her. But when they came to the hazel tree, the little dove sat there still, and sang, "Back again, back again! Look to the shoe! The shoe is too small and not made for you. Prince, prince, look again for thy bride, for she is not the true one that sits by thy side." Then he looked down and saw that the blood streamed so from the shoe that her white stockings were quite red. So he turned his horse and brought her back again also. "This is not the true bride," said he to the father. "Have you no other daughters?" "No," said he. "There is only a little dirty Ashbuttle here, the child of my first wife. I am sure she cannot be the bride." However, the prince told him to send her, but the mother said, "No, no, she is much too dirty. She will not dare to show herself." However, the prince would have her come, and she first washed her face and hands, and then went in and cursed it to him, and he reached her the golden slipper. Then she took her clumsy shoe off her left foot and put on the golden slipper, and it fitted her as if it had been made for her. And when he drew near and looked at her face, he knew her, and said, "This is the right bride." But the mother and both the sisters were frightened, and turned pale with anger as he took Ashbuttle on his on his horse, and rode away with her. And when they came to the hazel tree, the white dove sang, "Home, home! Look at the shoe! Princess, the shoe was made for you. Prince, prince, take home thy bride, for she is the true one that sits by thy side." And when the dove had done its song, it came flying and perched upon her right shoulder, and so went home with her. And that ends the story of Ashbuttle. Yay! So we've come to the end of the story reading session. So everyone, whether asleep or awake, want to thank you guys for coming here. Thank you for listening to me ramble and allowing me to go pew pew in the first half of the stream. And as I said, I will not be reading anyone, just to save people's ears. So, here's it. Good night, everyone. May you have a good day tomorrow and for the rest of your week. And I will see you guys next time. Ayasamin. Have a good night, sweet nightmares. Good night, Sire. Good night. No, not yet. I'm not going on a hiatus yet. Still have a couple days, Mako. Alright, I'm ending stream. Thank you for the redeem. Gosh, I have to drink now. Okay. Ending stream in 3, 2, 1. Oyasumin.